So this is where we left things, and where we're picking up right now at the start of initiative. Standing behind Nova was one of these skeletal knights, about to bring its blade down. Rookone sprang into action. Sir Riordan and Averin sprang into action. Starting first at the top of initiative is actually Honoria and then Rookone. So right now you have Honoria, Sir Riordan moving forward, prepared to strike. You have Lily kind of shrinking back right now closest to Honoria, and Rookone, who's kind of pushed Nova out of the way and taken her spot right in front of this blade that's about to come down. Honoria, what do you do?
I am going to hold my action for a spell attack for when the creature is not like standing behind one of my friends, because all of my spells will attack both of them, and I can't do that. So as soon as it is out of the way and free and clear, I will use the magics.
All right, so you're holding your action for now. Rookone, you've pushed Nova out of the way. You have a moment before this blade comes down on you. Because it is an undead creature, it's kind of slow moving, but it is large. It's actually, this knight is almost as tall as you.
So in doing that, focusing clearly on this undead knight, do I see anything behind it as Agatha within viewing?
So Agatha's back around the corner somewhere. You don't see her with your group. You don't hear her. You were kind of distracted. You probably didn't hear her prayer, which her dwarvish rites which were kind of quiet and personal. So you wouldn't see Agatha with you. Beyond the night, through this gaping hole that it's standing in the middle of in the castle wall, you can see the blue skies. It's morning. It's bright outside. And you can see the bluster of snow and ice being blown off of the mountainside with the wind.
All right. So this knight has a two-handed grasp on the sword that he's about to... Okay. So bonus action rage. Going to use my reckless attack for advantage on the attack, and I'm going to attack his strength save to disarm the greatsword.
Okay.
And I'm going to use, I'm going to, like, try to leap up into his grip with my head and attack him with my horns. Advantage. Crit.
All right. So what's the damage here?
It's just a disarming attack, so there's no damage, but how it mechanically works out is a physical attack against me versus a strength saving or strength or athletics check, I believe.
Great. So do you have to also roll an athletics check?
Nope. This is not like a grapple. This is a disarm attack is an attack from me versus a strength check, athletics check from him.
So it's a 23 from him. What's the result?
He is disarmed.
Great. So you throw your horns up into the place between his hand and his blade, and the blade goes flying as it comes down. It spins and clatters against the wall and hits the ground.
Okay. And then my reaction to hammering horns him in an attempt to push him prone.
All right.
I think he's just got to do a strength DC of 17.
He gets an 18.
All right. So
you smash into him, you knock the blade from his hands, and you try to bear your weight down to push him down, but he is like a statue. It feels like you're hitting solid stone, and he does not budge.
Okay. Hold on. Yeah, so, okay, yeah, and then I am done.
All right. Nova, it's your turn.
So fast. Okay. Nova feels very conflicted at this moment in time, because she was like, Brooke wants me to hug him, and then she just got psyched out. But then he like intercepted like the blade that was coming for her, so it was like so romantic. But the hug, and she is just gonna see the sword gonna clatter to the ground next to her. And can I like kick it off the cliff?
Absolutely, yeah. Now you will open yourself up to an attack of opportunity, but you can do it.
Yeah, I think I remember that sword last time. It didn't feel great. I'm gonna kick it off the cliff. So it doesn't.
All right. Make me an opposed athletics check.
Oh, that's not great. Okay. Do I use an inspiration? Yeah, I'm gonna use an inspiration. It's probably not gonna help me much, but let's see.
I'm also going to use an inspiration.
Oh, 15. Oh, that's not
It's
great.
going to be a 24. So you do kick the blade off of the cliff. It goes tumbling down, hits several times. You're not sure if it goes off the cliff or if it just goes down a ways on the slope.
Either way, it's very inconvenient for him.
Very inconvenient. However, you do feel the cold iron grip of his skeletal fingers around your neck, and he grasps you, he grapples you, and he raises you up off of the ground several feet, and your legs, you feel them dangling below you. Go ahead.
Excuse you.
Yeah, it was his attack of opportunity. So not the attack action. No, not with an attack of opportunity now. But he's just got her grappled at the moment.
Seeing if there's any bonus actions I want to do. I don't think so yet. Just bonus action to cough a little as I'm being lifted by my throat.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll put us over to Sir Riordan being up next.
Okay, Riordan, what he's going to do is the first attack that he can do, he's already engaged in melee, correct? Because it was right in front of him?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, and then after the exchange and whatnot, he is going to spin and he's not going to leave melee. He's not going to have an attack of opportunity, but he wants to spin and he wants to put himself behind, to the side. I want to try to flank. I'm just going to shoulder roll off of this thing. And
he's already used his opportunity attack, so you can get behind him if you want.
Right. So yeah, he's going to get behind him, and I'd like to attack him, and I would like to use a superiority die, and I'm going to try a pushing attack.
Awesome, go for it.
And this should be with advantage, correct? Because it's...
Yes.
Okay, so 26?
26 is a hit, and then he has to roll his strength saving throw,
Correct.
Which is a 27.
Okay, that works. Okay, so that'll be 16 slashing plus, I believe, the superiority die. So that'll be 21 slashing damage just from the attack itself.
All right.
Riordan is going to attack again. Same thing. He's going to try another pushing attack. That's a natural 20. I'm assuming that's more than a 16, Don?
It is, yeah, that's a 22.
Okay, so I currently have 3 inspiration. 2 of those is max damage, correct?
Yeah, you actually have 5 inspiration.
Oh,
It is max damage.
I've been busy, everybody. It's been an awesome, fun night. I am going to drop max damage on this cat.
Awesome.
So let's see. That'll be with my it's 20. And you know what? Just because this is the best time to use it, How about a little searing smite onto this cat on top of that? And so that'll give me... Hold on a second. This is major maths right now. Or I'm sorry, branding smite, which is... Okay, 12, 24, 48, 64... 71 points of damage, Don. I'd like to wreck his shit if I can.
So please describe to me what these two attacks in succession look like.
Violence. There's not... I mean, there's not a whole lot of... This is Riordan at his most pissed. He is just... He kicks... The thing doesn't go anywhere, so he decides to make it pay for not falling off the cliff by just carving that rose and kingfisher off of the armor. It shouldn't be wearing it. Fuck this thing. He can't say that because that's beneath him. So instead of saying, fuck you, Knight of the Rose, he's going to cleave this thing in twain because that's a fuck you from Sir Riordan.
And you cut the creature in half with your second blow, and your blade glows with a bright, hot light. It tumbles down. Its hand still has Nova. Nova, you hit the ground with it, but it still got you by the neck. Sir Riordan, are you still, is that your turn?
If you will allow me a bonus action step on the wrist of this thing to keep it from sliding off the cliff so Nova doesn't go anywhere, I'll do that too.
Absolutely, yeah. You can position yourself to block it. And right now, it's still like in the doorway. Its feet are standing. Its upper torso is on the ground with Nova in its arms.
Is it still moving?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, fine. Yeah, he's going to keep it from... He's just going to press down on the wrist, and I can't spend anything else yet. So yeah, he's just going to give it a more favorable attack partner, whatever. That's it. I'm done.
Yeah, it's prone right now. It's on the ground, so anybody attacking it would have advantage. And Agatha is up next, which means we move back around the corner into the dungeon. Agatha, you had a moment. Memories, prayers, and when you opened your eyes, your prayers had been answered in a way, but there is that thing standing right in front of you, moving towards you, blade in hand.
Well, hello, old friend. You know, you've been fighting a long time, and we're on our way out. You got no one left to guard. When you go rest? Doesn't it get tiring, always fighting? I get tired.
Its jaws move as though it's speaking, but no sound comes out of its mouth. It's just but it's still moving towards you.
If it makes you feel any better, we're probably about to fall to our death. Why don't you just stand back and watch? You know, they got a lot of fire, a lot of things to throw. You fall down, you get back up, you fall down, you get back up, you get a bit more battered. A little bit of your armor falls off, maybe. It's all the same all over and over again. Rest, friend. You got a bigger fight coming. Your master's got 2 dragons down the hill. Wait for that fight. It'll be worth your while. I really want to try and persuade this guy not to keep coming because she's done.
I'll let you try and make a persuasion check.
Doesn't see me, so the really personal Go Fish game loss is not potentially maybe on the table.
Okay, I'm gonna use
Very salty.
inspiration on this.
Okay.
Remind me, can I spend like 3 to make this an auto success?
No, so you can spend
Turning on
2
damage?
inspiration for max damage, and 3 inspiration will give you a second action.
Okay, cool. So yeah, just regular inspiration then.
All right.
17. I have
Um,
no charisma. She's trying real hard.
it stops for a second and then continues towards you. You're not sure how well your words moved it, but it is animated. It is holding its weapon. It is continuing to approach. I'll still let you take an action. I'll call that a bonus action. You still have a movement action as well.
Okay. She's just gonna shrug and go and walk outside. If this thing keeps coming, it can walk into the rest of the crew.
So you turn the corner,
Give it a shot.
and you see there Honoria and Lily closest to you, and then you see the scene beyond, which is Rookone and Reardon on either side of another skeletal creature's legs, and on the ground, its upper torso covered in plate mail, its arm still grasping Nova, who's writhing on the ground.
Oh, I see. You're the rear guard, and you got a friend. Well, all right then. And I'll just use the action, bonus action, whatever I have left, just to summon my sword to my hand, because I'm too lazy to pull it out my back right now.
Okay.
And I'll just be ready for the next round.
Great. That brings us to, let's see. It brings us to the knights themselves. First, the one on the ground. Everyone can make me a charisma saving throw.
I am using inspiration, Don.
Okay.
Same.
All right. Is everybody using inspiration?
Yeah.
Who's not using inspiration? Cool. The skeleton.
The skeleton.
No. Okay. 2016. So Rookone and Nova, you feel a wave of cold like press off of this creature. You can feel it in your bones. You felt this before, Nova, when you fought it, and it's not cold. It's invasive, and as it's still struggling at your neck, Nova, holding on to you, you are vulnerable to this attack. So you'll both take damage. That's going to be 11 cold damage to Rookone and 22 cold damage to Nova.
Okay.
Everyone else, you feel the wave too, but you're less affected by it. It just passes by you. The one on the ground with Nova is going to attack with its hand. So it has you gripped with one hand. It brings its other skeletal fist down and it just tries to pummel you.
Sentinel.
Okay. Go for it.
At advantage, right? Because it's prone.
That's right. Yeah.
26.
That is a hit.
Okay, I get to reroll the 1. Okay, so that's a 12. I think that's it, because I didn't call Great Weapon Master. Dumb door.
Okay. So you bring your blade down as it's attacking, and you crack part of its skull off. It does manage to still swing. Let's see. Does a 16 hit Nova?
Let's see. Shield? No.
You bring up the shield just in time, and its fist slams into it. Its pinky bone shatters on the shield, and it pulls its fist back. It's still got you in its grip. And around the corner, the other knight appears, advancing on Agatha. It is going to attack you, but it seems to hesitate for a moment, just for a moment before it swings its sword. It still swings, and you're not sure if it doesn't have its own free will, doesn't have a choice. It does seem to struggle for a moment. I'll give it a disadvantage on this attack.
If I see, old Skellebones go fish friend, little beat of
You do,
sweat.
like while you're on the ground.
Little beat of sweat forms. I'm like, oh no, that guy.
You recognize him because you broke his arm so badly, and now like his off arm is like bent off to the side, just kind of hanging out like a tree branch.
Yeah. It's not my fault he was so bad at go fish.
It is a natural one with disadvantage. So I'm going to say, actually, it is about to bring down its blade to attack, and it just stops. It freezes there, just like this. You're not sure what it's going to do next, but it doesn't actually follow through on its attack, Agatha.
Did it pick up its sword?
No, this is the one from behind. This is the one that was with Agatha. It has now turned the corner with Agatha and is at the rear of y'all.
Oh.
This is the one we beat up last time.
Yeah, you would recognize it too, Rookone. This is the one that you fought in the dungeons before. it looks pretty piecemeal compared to now its other companion is broken in half. So neither one of them are looking great. Avrin, this is the point where you were on the ceiling and you were about ready to jump off. You can do as you will now.
Okay, so how close are these two skeletons to me?
All of them are within 15 feet. You're on the ceiling, so it's really just a drop at this point.
Okay. Yeah, I'll deal with the one that's going heading towards Agatha right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna drop on it because that's what you do.
Drop vamp.
Vampire. Roll me a stealth check, actually.
Oh, okay. Stealth. 14.
It does look up at you as you're about to drop down from the ceiling. It was frozen for a moment with its blade up, but then its head tilts upwards as you drop down. So you'll make the attack per regular, no advantage.
Okay. 20.
I didn't see her coming, so I can't free action.
Okay. 28.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So that's 6 plus another 24. So that's plus another 10. So 16.
16. So you drop down and you're wailing on this thing with your tonfa and your short sword.
I'm gonna sneak attack because there's an enemy of it within 5 feet of it. Sneak. 19 on top of that.
That's pretty good. That helps. So let's see here. That's going to be 35 total damage. So you drop down on this thing. It sees you coming, but it's kind of frozen. It's not really prepared for you. So you are able to crack into its shoulder, into its jaw. You bounce off of it and you land on the ground. And it lowers its sword for a second. And it looks away from you, Avrin, and towards Agatha. And Agatha, you see again its jaw. It starts to raise its sword.
I told you to rest. I told you to not come and fight.
So this is the end of the first round. Honora, you've been holding your action. You could take a shot here if you'd like.
Okay. I'm gonna take a shot at whichever one of the two looks more healthy, which I guess is a weird term to
That's
use.
the one in the back. The one that's not cut in half looks probably more healthy.
Honoria's eyes will lose their distinctly kind of golden color to them, and the best way to describe it is kind of a Disney villainous green that pulses through her blood. Every single one of her veins becomes this neon green color, and she holds up a hand and traces a single line down. And she casts Disintegrate on one of them.
Yeah, that's a 10 on its dexterity save.
I will spend my 2 inspiration to make it max damage.
That's 100 total damage.
For some reason, you let us do that. Yes.
I can do it too. So what is that? That's 100 damage, right?
10d6 at 60. That is 100 damage. Yes.
So as this bolt of energy passes through you, it shoots right over your shoulder, Agatha, past you, Avrin, and it hits the Go Fish skeleton guard, who's not yet attacked, right square in its skull, and you see its skull crumble. The creature actually raises up off the ground with a beam for a second, and when the second pulse of the beam goes through, the skull disintegrates, and then the rest of its body downward disintegrates. Even its armor disintegrates. It doesn't melt. It's just ash.
I'm coming.
That brings us to the top of the round, which is Honoria again.
Can't do that twice in a row, friends. Sorry. But again, with another drawn finger down and black coming over her eyes, she will say, Azrael Barrier. And oh wait, no, necromancy in this world heals other undead, doesn't it? Yeah.
It just depends. You can always take the chance.
Any kind of check I could make on that this time around?
I'll let you use your bonus action to make an Arcana check.
Sweet. Will it heal this guy if I use
What spell
on
are
it?
you?
Blight.
What spell? Blight. No, but it might not be as effective as you would want it to be.
I'm gonna hold my action then because I'm gonna wait for not to burn my friends alive again.
All right, Rokon, it's your turn.
That'll be fine.
I've been set on fire a lot.
All right, so the top half of this MFer still got Nova.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I want to face whatever direction that's in, and place my foot on the back of the Death Knight, and then the arm and the torso of the Death Knight. What would I have to do to try to dislocate and separate the arm from the torso?
So mechanically, what I would want you to do is succeed in the grapple and then move away from Nova.
Okay. All right. I will grapple. That's athletics. Advantage because raging.
Yeah, you managed to get a good hold on its arm.
All right, and then I'll place my knee on its actual arm and try to separate the torso from the actual arm.
Yeah, you're able to tear the torso from the arm. The arm is still gripping Nova.
And then how far away are we from the cliff?
10 feet. You go through the door, through the opening, the hole in the wall.
All right, from where I'm standing, can I spin around like a discus thrower and heave the torso off of the cliff?
Of course you can. Roll me an athletics check.
That's a lot of fall damage.
27.
A lot of fall damage. All right.
And it's got no arms to slow its descent on the way down.
No.
It's just out.
So
Oh my god.
you take the torso in your arm, you spin it around, you heave it through the opening, and it goes disappearing, it goes sailing off, and it drops out of view. It's going to take it, I think, a whole turn, a little over a turn to actually hit the ground at 1,000 feet, but it will be 62 fall damage when it hits.
Team rocket blasting off again.
Meanwhile, Nova, it's your turn. I need you to make me another charisma saving throw. Charisma?
Inspiration.
Yeah.
Okay. 17.
That is enough. So you managed to withstand the negative effects of being gripped at the start of your turn, but you're still struggling with this thing. Its grip is still just as tight as it was, despite not having a torso currently.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think fireballing myself here would be a tad extreme.
Please don't.
Just a tad.
I like that you considered it, though.
I did. It was my first thought, actually. Like, maybe if I fireball and let go. AoE. I have a lot of AoEs. All right. I'm just gonna, because it's holding on to me, I'm just gonna rotate my arm again and get that palm ready and just hold onto its wrist and firebolt it.
All right, go for it.
So.
Oh no.
Yep.
Rokon, make me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh no!
Advantage on things I can see.
But you just turned around to throw this thing out through the opening, right?
Doesn't matter. It's a 14.
14. What's your spell save DC?
Well, because it's that, let's see, the Lunatari moon, it's currently 18.
Cool. Rookone, you are hit in the back with a bolt of fire as Nova struggles.
Damage. That's good.
So yeah, only 5 fire damage.
So that'd be 3.
Yeah.
Halved.
All right.
Or 2. Is that Nova's turn? You can stand up too if you'd like. You have movement.
Yeah. Well, no, it's much more dramatic to be on the ground and then the arms prone. I do have I just looked through my stuff again today. I have something that lets me attack twice at level 5, so I'm just gonna try to stab it with something. 'Cause I hit Ryukone on accident and I feel terrible, so I'm just gonna try to dagger it.
Okay.
So does that hit it?
It does.
There.
Make me a strength, an athletics check.
Athletics check? Okay.
Mm-hmm. So you stab it with your dagger, able to actually pry it and force it off of your neck, and it kind of goes scuttling to the ground and it picks up and turns around almost like a bug.
I scuttle backwards as well.
Riordan, it's your turn.
Riordan is going to walk up. Is this thing considered prone because it's
on the ground? Yeah, I'll say. I mean, at this point, I would say you've beaten up this skeletal structure enough that both legs and hand are prone.
Are the legs doing anything?
They kind of turned around when Rookone threw the torso out through the opening, and so like
lock it in the jail cell.
If the legs have a face, they would be facing Rookone at the moment.
Okay, because whatever. He's going to walk by the arm and spin absolution down and try to spear it like you would in a fondue restaurant. Like he's attempting to.
Absolutely.
He's just attempting to
do it.
Kebab it. 19. Yep. Okay, so that'll be 16 slashing. Is it on my blade?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so he is going to walk to the edge of the cliff, and with one fluid motion, he is going to draw absolution across his arm and try to just flick it off into space.
Yeah, and you can. It's kind of like struggling, but it's basically like a speared insect at this point, and you are able to push it off, and it goes flying down as well. Now you're standing. You're the only one standing outside at the moment, outside of the castle on the edge of this cliff. So I'll tell you that you can see that the morning sky is bright and clear, except for the ash and the smoke that's rising from below. You can see now what Agatha's seen, that the town of Dargard is on fire. The clashing of metal knights fighting each other, townsfolk dying, rushing out. You actually see a number of, they look like ants from up here, but you imagine they're people running from the town in the south direction. You see the 2 skeletal dragons down there as well, just going mechanically about slaughtering anything in their path. And then to the north, where the sky isn't clear, you see a dark patch of storm clouds. And beneath that patch, you can tell the signs of an approaching army marching. It's a ways off still, but it's an army with torches and weapons, massive, much larger than what's down in the town below. And it's shrouded in the shadow of the storm clouds. That's approaching from the north.
Great.
At this point, we'll say we're out of initiative. The fall damage is enough to destroy the torso, and once the torso is destroyed, the legs kind of crumple to the ground as well. And Agatha, you're standing there with Averin. You've watched this creature be disintegrated right in front of you, and then there's this sort of calm, and just the cold of the wind outside whistling through the opening of the hole in the castle, and you're all together.
I grab one leg, I shove it through the bars of one jail cell. I grab another leg and I chuck it down the hall.
Do you feel better now, Nova?
Yeah, no, just a little bit of breathing's great. It's a pastime of mine, and I'm glad I get to continue doing it. Also, I'm so sorry, Ragone. I didn't mean to shoot you with the fireball. I was trying to hit the skeleton, but it was a real wriggly arm, and I was being strangled, and I'm very sorry. And also, thank you so much for just jumping in there. It was really chivalrous of you, and dashing and daring and brave.
Yeah.
I am walking over to Lorana while this is happening.
And she's being guarded right now by Lily, who has her little wooden weapon, and she's just like before. She's like standing over Lorana's unconscious body, kind of her head turning because there were skeleton knights from both sides. She's kind of looking in both directions, expecting there to be more coming. She's very tense.
That's where Riordan is headed as well.
Sir Riordan, roll me a perception check.
This is my specialty. 22.
You turn around to head back inside, and then the reflection of sunlight off of something metal in the sky catches your eyes. It's in the distance, but for a second, the reflection is a copper gleam.
He'll mark it in the sky as he retreats to Lorana's side.
And you're all together. Once Sir Riordan comes inside, Lily will lower her weapon, and she kind of looks up at you, Riordan, with a question in her eyes.
Yes?
She points at the pile of ash on the ground with her sword and looks up at you and kind of squints. Roll me an insight check.
16.
You've not heard this little girl speak out loud. She could be mute for all you know, but you get the feeling that she's asking if there's going to be more of them.
If not their kind, there is unfortunately always enemies. But we face them as we always shall. Heart, faith, and he taps absolution, and steel.
She taps her wooden sword too, as though it were steel.
Honoria rolls her eyes.
What's everyone else doing here?
Can I do anything to revive Lorana?
Like what?
I have... What are corpse blooms again? Those are just the strange flower?
Yeah, corpse blooms are native to Nightland. You would know that they tend to bloom out of corpses. They're strange plants that only grow out of specifically sentient creatures' corpses.
The closest thing I could do is try to, with the ingredients that I have on hand, probably the calcified dragon might work best. Create like a smelling salt underneath her type sensation to try and jolt her out of it.
Sure, yeah. Give me a medicine check.
I have no more inspirations.
Can I?
Fuck.
Well, at this time, what are you doing, Honoria? Since I am there as well.
Trying to revive your maiden.
May I ask why?
want to see her well.
You are in luck then. She is breathing and resting.
Indeed. I will Shirek near the side of the cave wall for little Lily, and I will start making little finger puppet shadows on the side of the wall to entertain her.
Yeah, she is very compelled by them. Are they doing anything in particular? Are they telling a story?
Noria is not great with kids, but will do her best. You know, this bunny polymorphs into a bird and this kind of thing.
I mean, she's seen a lot of disquieting magic since falling in with you all, and the fact that she's still standing and not screaming or running away says a lot about this little girl. She is very entertained, for at least for the moment. Seems to be interested in the flow and the way that one shape becomes another shape.
That's all I'm doing.
Everin, Agatha, that's me, turns to Everin as the others kind of move around and move their attentions to Lorana, and looks down at that pile of ash and comments, you know, that's the problem with generals. They order you to fight and they don't care what happens to you, as long as you don't stop fighting. You fight, you die. You don't fight, they kill you. Problem.
I'll always fight
just
as long as there's
ride around on dragons and horses and up in castles, and they watch and they wait. They order more and more to fight. And this is all that remains when it's done. And she kind of kicks the ash a little with the tip of her shoe.
I think Averin just kind of tilts her head. Sounds like you've had quite a bit of experience with them.
How do you...
We sure.
At this point, is the best thing we could do to climb down and try to skulk along the sides of the battle?
There's another force coming from the north. We do not want to be here. Riordan's keeping his eyes locked on the copper flash. And who knows? Listen, Riordan's super old and Lily's super young. So if he can point out where that flash came from, perhaps they can meet in the middle and keep a track of it.
Since I am right beside him, may I also make a perception check?
Absolutely.
I love how it's dueling ability checks for me and Honoria. Everything's like, do I see it as well? Maybe.
I'm just trying to help you, buddy.
You can make me a perception check too. Riordan.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
My specialty. 11!
17.
Honoria, you recognize what this shape in the sky is. It's getting closer and closer. Riordan, it's really hard with the glint of the sun in your eyes, and maybe your eyes are a little older than they used to be.
That's why. What about with Lily? Could she point it out to me?
Let me see.
Nope.
No.
Riordan, we must get that flyer's attention and bring them here. They can save Lorana.
How do you know?
Because I can see.
I saw it too outside. I'm just having problems here with the shifting of the transition of the shadow and the light.
When it comes to your maiden's safety, have I led you wrong thus far? Do you not trust me?
stretch that pause out for a while. Do you need me to trust you, Honoria?
In this, yes.
Why?
Then let her die.
She is with me. She is safe. We do not know who commands the copper glint in the sky.
It is one of her companions.
How do you know?
I can see through time.
I call bullshit and roll an insight check.
I am telling the truth technically.
I rolled a 19.
She's telling the truth technically.
No. I'm not asking if she can see through time. I'm asking if she can see through time in this matter. That's what I'm insight checking, which is horseshit. He knows that she can do stuff, but he doesn't buy what she's doing right now.
You know what I know, Don. I'm leaving this in your hands.
You think, with a 19, you think that she is being as honest as Honoria ever is.
Okay, well, that proves my point. Well, let us see if it gets closer. We can make out a flag or a banner or a color, perhaps indicating which side it is on. Or if
What
it is
would
even
I
a friend.
be able to tell him to convince him that it is on our side? What would I have seen armor-wise?
No armor. You could roll me. I mean, you do have a spell. You could use your minor eyes of time.
I think I will.
Here's the problem, everybody. And this is both Greg and Reardon talking. Greg and Reardon know that there is a copper dragon that has a rider that he doesn't like a whole lot. So he's going to really need serious proof before he goes out and flags down a copper dragon. Because though it is beneath him, he needs super duper motherfucking proof.
So you would potentially let Lorana die
She's not
because
dying.
you don't like somebody? She's unconscious. This is your lady love, and that is a copper dragon. One of the good dragons. One of the dragons on our side, and you a knight.
We're not having this conversation.
Would
This is
let this pass.
this is super meta. I'm saying that Greg and Riordan, this is what you're being presented with in the stoic visage of a knight.
Then I say all of that in Honoria's voice.
Okay, so but is Honoria casting minor eyes of time?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That is one of the futures I see. Is me saying all that bullshit.
So descriptively, here's what happens, and Sir Riordan would see this. Honoria's eyes begin to grow black, and within those eyes, you see a golden hourglass where there should be an iris in each eye. Her skin begins to give off a golden light. Honoria, you've not experienced this. Something feels different this time when you're using your magic. You feel hot inside your skin. Your mind does move 6 seconds into the future, 6 seconds into every possible future, or at least many, many of them, to determine what you can do or say to win your argument. And I'll let Greg suggest what it would take for you to win your argument against him with specificity.
Sure thing. You would see that there is one definite way that he will help flag down the dragon is if you say, and it is the truth, that's not Tanis half-elven.
That is...
You see a version of the future where you convince him it's the truth. You see versions of the future where you try to convince him and fail. You would have advantage on a deception roll if you tried to make a deception roll here, because of your,
but at what
it's her spell, it
cost,
gives her
Don?
advantage.
But at what cost? Do I make this truth and potentially be wrong and lose my forever companionship with my dear knight and ally and lose any potential hope I have at the Lake of Sounds? Or do I get what I want?
So this is the limitations of this spell and time magic, is that you can only see 6 seconds into the future. So you really can't see with this spell the long-lasting impact of your choices.
I will come out of my spell and just stare at him in that same long, drawn-out pause. It is your choice. And I will get up and walk away. And that's my chaotic evil nature coming into play.
Your skin.
Old Honoria would have been all about that shit.
Your skin doesn't quite cool down after the spell. It's still giving off a bit of a golden glimmer.
I will pull out my dagger from my wrist, where most wizards keep one just in case that their magic fails them, and slowly draw it across my hand, attempting to cut myself to see if this golden skin has somehow affected me in some other way.
You bleed just the same, and the light dims when you cut your hand.
My blood tastes the same.
It's like copper.
Oh, negative.
That's actually my blood type.
I rolled a 19 on my insight check. I know it's your blood type.
So before we go back to Riordan, what's everybody else doing inside during this conversation? Are you guys paying attention? Or are you doing any other kind of preparations?
Avrin is nervously looking outside where she sees there is sunlight.
Yeah, that's sunlight. There's not even clouds that you can see from the inside. It's very bright.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she's pacing a little bit. Getting a little closer to the entranceway, but not quite there as she shies away from it.
I think Nova kind of looks back and forth between Honoria and Riordan a little bit, like mom and dad are fighting. But then sees Avrin looking real nervous and goes over and goes, "Are you okay?" I'm sure they'll resolve their argument if that's what's bothering you.
But recently, no, something else.
All right, well, if you need somebody to listen, just sit and listen, and you just get it all out. Just let me know, because I'm here.
I'm good, thank you. I'm just a little sensitive to sunlight. That's all.
Oh, yeah, no problem. You know, when I first went out to the desert, I was very sensitive to sunlight as well. I just looked like a lobster for just weeks, months even. I'm a lot better now, but if you don't want to deal with the sunlight, I mean, I've got like an extra couple blankets, or if you really don't like it, I could just put you in my bag for a little while, or my arm. But there's only like 10 minutes of air in there, so, you have to just, find some shade pretty quick.
You can put me in
my arm? Yeah. She kind of pulls her arm off and opens it up a little bit wider and kind of just pulls out some random things from it. Yeah, you can fit all sorts of stuff. This arm can hold so many things. But there's just not a whole lot of air.
Well, I can hold my breath very well.
So like 15 minutes? I just gotta set on the old mental timer, because that would feel really bad if you suffocated. Just feel real awful.
I shall be fine.
It's only
If
almost
I can
happened
fit.
twice. Oh, I can shrink you down.
Well, she can find a way for me to. I think she like looks at the arm, still a little skeptical. Fit me in there. It wouldn't be the weirdest thing I've done.
All right, so when we go outside, I'm sure it won't take us longer than like 10, 15 minutes to climb down the mountain. And, there's some trees down there.
I should be fine. Trust me.
The only
We're
thing I'm
like-
worried about with the climbing is if we climb down the cliff, we do that very slowly. And if one of those dragons happen to notice us, we're not in well.
Well, if you're in my arm, we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can get 5 of us. There's 7.
Since we are going to rest regardless, I will cast Fly for us. We can make it down. I begin
Then we're
casting.
agreed. We should get moving.
Ylang. I'll cast it
Are
once.
you-
If
Is Nova shrinking Averin and putting her into Nova's arm?
Yeah, I make her promise me that she'll be fine for the 10, 15-minute climb down there. And I ask her, how long exactly can she hold her breath? Because I'm very concerned for... 2 people have almost suffocated in there before. I'd really feel bad if she actually suffocated.
I think Avern, realizing that she's not going to be able to explain, she just like she kind of leans down a bit, grabs Nova's arm and puts it to her chest, where there is no heartbeat.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, swap arms. She puts an ear in. Oh! How about then you'll just be fine? Sure.
I'm
I say
surprised
it.
it took you this long to notice. Honestly.
Yeah, you're just I thought you were just really shy and quiet, but if you're like a zombie, that's totally fine.
Avern hasn't learned how to put away her fangs yet.
Uh-huh. Avern's done a really good job of like making a point to keep her mouth kind of closed a lot. But if Avern's like gives her the look and she sees the things, she'll be like, "Oh, excuse me, vampire." Would hate to mislabel you. It's very rude. But yeah.
You're not phased by this.
It's a Kender.
Should I be? I got all sorts of crazy friends out there. Vampires definitely not the weirdest.
Just
you're a person too.
Can we just get going?
Sure. All right, and I will cast.
Nova, you said you had a lot of crazy friends. The ones that we're visiting, what are they exactly?
Well, which ones specifically? Well, if we see number 5 on my list. Just kidding, number 4. Let me make sure I got that right. I don't have it in front of me. Number 5. I was right the first time. Go me. Durlim, he just lives out in the desert. He's an elf. He's really chill. Known him for like, I don't know, like 30 years or something. It's been a while. The others are just, one of number 9 on the list is a goldfish. So it'd be real fun if we got to stop by and see him. Let's see, and then, there's Rukon. Number 2, Mr. Pew Pew is number 1. And then, there's a couple other people I can't really just talk about for confidentiality reasons. But, I'm sure we'll get there.
Gloria, do I just off the mountain? Is that how that works?
Yes, and I will go with you, like, legit.
And Agatha, as she descends, is busy trying to process Averin's a vampire. That's something she's going to deal with on her way down.
How did you all know? Honoria is just going to go down. Yeah, as soon as you ask the question, do I just jump off the cliff and Honoria just boop?
So narratively what happens then, Nova shrinks Averin down puts her in her arm, which is dark, just very dark.
I'm sure I have some candles in there, so if she wanted to have some light,
arm candles,
she could.
Arm candles.
Arm candles.
Of course, they'd be the size of trees when she's down in there.
Not quite, but yeah.
pretty large. And then puts her arm back on, and then Honori is casting Fly on.
I am casting it at 5th level, so I can do 3 people if I need to come back up and cast it again. But I'm assuming me, Rico.
You guys can carry. You guys can each carry somebody. Like obviously, Sir Riordan can carry one. Yeah.
Rigon can carry Lorana. I ain't carrying fucking anybody.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys. I could say with Avrin inside Nova's arm, Rookone carrying Lily and Nova
and Agatha.
Okay. Agatha, are you okay with being carried?
Sure.
Great. So Riordan carrying, I imagine.
I would say Lorana, yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
And that's when we're all going to take a short rest, right? Right?
Oh no. Yes.
Can I commune with animals to find Shadow's location to see if he stayed at the base?
What's the range on commune with animals?
I think it's something like 40 million feet, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
Hold on, let me double check that.
Is anybody else doing anything before you all jump off this cliff? What about Sir Riordan? So Honori has turned around and left you there. She said it's your choice. You see this copper glint in the sky, and you can make out at least that it looks like the shape of a dragon, not a large dragon. It's descending, but it's not descending directly towards you. It's more like it's going in the direction of the town.
Okie dokie.
God, fuck you, Riordan.
The beast has to be there. Beast has to be present.
Yeah, you're not sure. You felt really good about your connection to him right before you left. But when you fly down, you could go looking for him. You could go track him or call for him or whatever. Or if we assume that you're flying down towards the base of this mountain, or are you guys going elsewhere? So once you're in the air here, you see the battle beneath you. You see this army approaching from the north. You can all see this copper dragon in the distance descending from the sky towards the town. You're all flying, except for Avrin, who I guess is technically flying, but really like in this weird dark arm cocoon. Where are you flying to?
I recommend
down, right?
West.
Down to the forest.
West.
Yeah.
Down and west.
Yeah, I'd like to personally go to the base of the cliff to see if I could locate Shadow in the in all of the battle and skirmish.
We did tell him where we were going.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Follow my companions, because companions are great. I love my companions.
So we'll say then you're flying down to the base of the cliff then. It's 1,000 feet down. It's cold. It bites your skin. If you've ever experienced sub-zero temperature when you're pressing through the wind, it's something else. It feels like your flesh is being ripped off of your bones when the wind is fast. And that's kind of what it feels like in this descent. But you make it to the bottom of the cliff, and we'll say, because we all deserve nice things, that Shadow the Hound is waiting there in exactly the same place you left him, looking up at you, eagerly, panting, his tongue hanging out the side of his mouth.
Cool.
Does he have like part of a skeleton torso in his mouth that just weirdly landed down here?
Absolutely, yeah. He drops it when he drops the torso when he sees you coming.
Okay, so I'll beckon him close to me, and then I'll try to pick him up underneath my arms and then ascend to where we have to go.
I would say none of the people you're carrying are very heavy, so I'll give Rookone a third. I think you have the strength to do it.
With
It's
the
awkward.
with the aspect of the beast, I can carry up to 600 pounds without being inhibited.
Yeah.
Not
So
that I'm bragging. I'm not bragging or anything.
It's sure.
Just wanted to say it again.
It's awkward, but you can do it.
Don,
I see.
can I roll a medicine check on Lorana?
Absolutely.
Can I use Honoria's help on him if I can detect that he's doing that? So
You're
he
not
can
here.
get,
I waited for you to jump off the cliff.
Can I?
I'll give you this with a 13. With a 13, you, because you've fought in war and you know what different conditions look like. You've seen this in your men before when they've just been pushed so far that they can't move. They're exhausted. They need rest. She needs serious rest, but she is breathing. Her heart is beating. You don't think she's in danger of dying. She's very exhausted. The fact that she's breathing regularly but not waking up very much despite everything that's happened suggests to you that she needs rest more than anything.
Okie dokie. With that information, he will descend.
Okay. And as you all descend, Riordan, you see the copper dragon figure on its back, maybe wearing green, descend into the town, and it unleashes a breath of lightning. That lightning arcs out of the copper dragon's mouth, striking one of the other dragons. It's about the same size, and it looks like they're moving to a tumble. You also see at this point, as you all gather down,
He's actually engaging.
He's engaging.
If this was a Telltale game, Riordan will remember that.
And once you get to the base of the cliff, you can't really make out anymore because he's descended into the town walls, and the walls are still standing. So you can see the walls of the town in the distance. You're still all under the effects of the fly spell. You gather up the hound, and it's now that you can see a shadowy shape descending from the storm clouds to the north. It descends at a rapid speed, and this shadow is large. At first, it looks like a darker cloud that's just breaking off from the rest. Sir Riordan, everyone can make me a perception check. I'll give Sir Riordan advantage on his for this.
14.
Those are all pretty good.
Nice. Nice.
So you'll all see the same thing, except for Agatha, which will get a little bit more. You can see in this shadow that's approaching, it's descending towards the town itself at a rapid speed. Beneath the veil of darkness, the flash of fire. For a second, you see a shape that's massive and serpentine, and then again shrouded in shadow. And even a couple of miles away, all of you except for Nova feel a sort of cold fear pierce your chest. It doesn't feel natural. Nova, you don't feel fear, at least not very often.
No.
Agatha, you see a little bit more when there's that flash of fire. Not just serpentine, you see red scales, and you know that that's a dragon.
Great. There's a collection of dragons.
And it's headed towards the town, right, Don?
Headed towards the town.
Tannis's turn to fight Soth.
You don't know that.
There'll be nothing left of the town come morning.
Good thing we're leaving.
Shame about everyone who didn't get a chance to, though.
They're still screaming. You can hear
Good,
muffled in the
great, Dad.
distance
Wonderful.
their sound.
Have you met
But
Dawn?
you're all flying still, or at least able to fly right at the base of this cliff. And you see this shape descending. Fly spell only has a certain amount of time. Averin only has a certain amount of time. What are we doing?
I cannot convince you to get the rider in the sky, but nor could you convince me not to tell Lorana that we passed by this travesty.
Are you saying this to Riordan?
I'm saying it to everybody, not looking at anyone in particular.
Nova's got a look on her face like, still don't know who that is.
If not, we march. But I believe you made an oath, Sir Knight.
Oh,
If I
please,
helped you-
tell me about my oath.
I helped you retrieve her.
Yes?
And what was it that you promised me in return?
That I would come with you to help you. Have we been separated, and this is all a delusion that I'm having? I believe that I am at your side conversing with you. I have not left you.
Fair enough.
You know the riders?
I know one.
Do you know where we can get any extra dragons though? Because there's this thing I've heard of, and I just haven't been able to get the door open. But it's like a broken Dragonlance, and I think if we had it, we could just drag it.
I say in Kender, what the fuck did you just say?
Language, I respond in Kender. Just kidding, I don't really care. Are you not fluent in common? I will say it again in Kender, and she's gonna talk a little slower. I said, oh, if only I had a dragon, I could try to figure out how to open those stupid doors again to get the broken Dragonlance that I heard about. Because I could fix it.
I feel like Honoria is like slowly.
Again, I could go dragon jousting, but I'm lacking a dragon, which is the most important component here.
You ever seen Foghorn Leghorn, where he's like slowly walking across to pick up the person, and like Honoria is like goes down and like bends down on one knee. Where's the Dragonlance?
What's behind the pair of locked doors? Can't get it open though. I've tried blasting it. I've tried setting it on fire. I tried blasting it again.
It's mostly fire-based.
I reach into my pockets and I pull out a dragon scale. I will give you this.
What color is it?
Black.
Thank you. I will give you this if you can tell me everything you know about where those doors are.
What? Why do you want to know so bad, and why are you talking about this in Kender?
Do you say that in common?
No, I got
Honori will just kind of shrug and go to put the
I think she'd
scale
say,
away.
yeah, I'll be like, she's more just like really confused. Like I was saying in common, like is Kender her first language? Is she?
I turn to Riordan and I say, I got the word Kender. Did you get anything else?
I didn't get anything.
This is definitely one of those Honoria is so surprised in the moment, her mind just automatically switches into, I need to get the information. So in my own sociopathic way, I am trying to communicate with you in what I think will get me the information the fastest. She probably hasn't even realized that she switched over to Kender.
Yeah,
and
Nova's just like confused a little bit. Like, are you half Kender? Because that'd be pretty cool. I haven't met any other Kenders really.
I am. We are probably related, she says in common.
Wow, that's pretty cool. But yeah, no, I've been to the doors a couple times.
What doors are you talking about?
Well, you see, there are these great big doors in this I think it's a dwarven ruins. And they've got like these three.
There's stones in them.
There's not stones. There's
There's holes for stones.
There's 3 holes in there, and I heard that there's this Dragonlance behind it. But I tried blasting.
What is the third stone?
Well, the first one was shaped kind of like the hole.
Yes, it was the serpent, and then it was the bloodstone of Fistantantalus. But what does the third stone look like? Honoria goes back into her mind and tries to remember. Damn you, Dawn!
She'll just describe what each hole looks like. Well, the first one was kind of like this, and then the second one was kind of like this.
What is?
And then the third one was kind of like like this.
Where are the ruins, Nova? And she's like looking through the town, and now Nova, now really torn because she doesn't know what's going on anymore.
The ruins? Oh, they're just right under Malmine.
Is your wolf still nearby, Rookone, by any chance?
He has it like under an arm.
It's still alive, isn't it? Honoria is like pulling out physical chunks of her hair, no joke at this point, and looks over with this insane lust in her eyes at your wolf. I need its eye.
No.
That's a bit extreme.
This all makes...
There's other wolves out there. Just
there are, but there's like a big old forest we're just flying over right now. Sure, there's a couple.
In the hands of Kender.
But yeah, it's big stone doors.
I'm in part expecting Nova to pull an eyeball out of somewhere on her being.
You know what? It's not a magical item. I can roll a d4 and see if I have one in my Kender pockets.
Do it.
Okay. Let me double check to see if I want to
Wait.
for.
Can I Honoria's help this in any way?
I think, no, I don't think so on this particular one.
Hold on, let me check my pockets. Okay, I roll a 4.
Oh my god.
Actually, hold on one sec. You need a wolf's eye? Well, don't take it from our dear pupper over there. I think I got one. Hold on. She's just kind of like, she's got big cargo pants on, and she kind of just digs it out. Oh, I got one right here.
I pull out the dragon scale again and give it to you.
Oh, thanks. I'm gonna make some.
And I take out a vial, and I take out some bark skin, and I smush the beast. Does anyone have some wine?
No, but I really wish I did.
Hold on, let me check.
Riordan gets closer to Agatha. At this point,
Nope,
he
freaking
understands. Game knows game, and he's.
No wine.
Any alcohol?
I don't have any on me. At least, not in my pockets. Oh. Any alcohol? Just wine.
Any alcohol?
All right. Well, let me look in my pockets again and my equipment. I have a water skin. All right. God damn it. Any
What is
alcohol?
the property of this? The alcohol that you need. What is it about it? Flammable? Because we can do flammable.
Oh, I have a lot of flammable things. If that's what you're talking about.
It has to be alcohol.
Honoria, I'll give you this. I'll let you try with one missing ingredient.
Is Averin all right in your arm?
Well, she said she didn't really need to breathe.
Averin, Honoria says, desperate, like, I wouldn't say like full-on bald spots, but probably bleeding down the side of her head from like the desperation of what was happening.
Hold on. You got a bit of schmutz there. Just kind of handkerchief.
Honoria's gonna let this happen.
Here you go.
Riordan would go over to Rookone and Agatha and just like conspiratorially be like, okay, the wizard has lost it. What do you two have left?
Does
Are we-
Lorana have any alcohol on her?
No, Lorana is stripped of all of her possessions.
Perfect, pretty little princess.
Oh, we didn't check the table on our way. Oh wait, we were at the table earlier.
Yeah, Soth gave her a 6-pack of Zima right before he threw her in the crystal. Just in case it gets warm.
You know that Feywild could be anywhere, okay? I'd need a drink if I went through that.
Dawn, can I?
Dawn, you sneaky,
Oh wait,
sneaky bastard.
I know so
like-
much. I'm trying
wait.
to just.
What's Agatha trying to do?
Any kind of history, lore, story check, because I know about Melamé, and what I know about it, and what I know about dwarven shit, and try and figure out, any personal connections with the ruins or any knowledge of ruins, because that doesn't seem familiar right now.
So,
Or Dragonlances, for example.
yeah, roll me not a history check because the history here is different. Malmene didn't exist in your timeline.
Mm-mm.
Um,
Very big War of the Lance.
Sorry to derail so hard, everybody.
Yeah.
My bad.
No, this is great. This is great. Roll me an insight check, Charlie.
Okay. I'm gonna use an inspiration on this.
Okay.
9.
Something. There's something in your gut. Something that feels compelling, familiar. It's just a gut feeling. It's really hard to put a pin on it.
You know, that's where I came through.
I saw
Where I
you
arrived.
in that dream, and if she can find the doors, we can get
Yeah.
the stones from Averin, sister. I say, pointing at Nova's armpit. I can find the last stone with some alcohol, and we can go home.
Well, hold on a minute. Why do you need a bunch of alcohol to go home?
Because I need to drink this, I say, holding up the vial that probably looks like vomit.
Got like the eye floating in it.
Yeah, a little bit, like a little tendril, like swirled down the side. You ever seen like a hemorrhage shot? Like that's probably
Mhm.
what she is holding up right now. Like it does not look or probably.
I mean, can't we just like walk you there? I mean, it seems a bit extreme to have to,
But the
drink that
stone-
concoction.
Was there any in the cabin?
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say for the sake of yes, sure, I'm all about this. Let's see where the night
Yeah,
goes.
there's like a little cask of wine in there. We saw.
Yeah. You could have taken some. I guess it probably would have been more like moonshine.
Honoria doesn't actually drink that often.
It's,
Completely not related to the character or player.
maybe we should convene at the cabin.
I look at Rookon like he is smarter than Parsalin himself, and am ready to fly.
Speaking of flying, that shape is nearly upon the town now. And for all of you who felt that panic before, it grows again now. And you see the shadow shift away. For a second, you can see glowing eyes, a fiery maw. Another second later, you see what looks like a rider on the back of the dragon. And it will be upon the town in a few seconds. You're not that far from the town. You don't have that much flying time left. So where do we want to go? What's the plan?
Is Lorana awake?
No.
Happen?
Agatha, for her part, starts in the direction of the cabin, but slowly veers towards the town because that dread feeling and the feeling of fear is actually calling her to see what is happening and if she can help anyone there. Because there's now, like, as far as she's aware, like 3 or 4 dragons, and no one can compete with the dragons. So if she can smuggle some people out of this shit, then that's a win in her books. Because this is a fight between generals now. She's not about it. This is done. Let them do
So-
with dragons.
You want to fly towards the cabin, but you want to veer towards the town to get a better look to make a
Yeah, 'cause
decision.
it's like a road, right? It was a road, and the cabin was like just off.
That's correct. Yeah, you're off the road now, but you could easily do that. Is everyone going to follow Agatha? Are you guys going to take different routes? Is anybody doing anything differently?
Riordan will follow Agatha.
I'm just along for the ride on Recon.
I'll also follow Agatha with carrying the half of the party that I'm carrying.
Great.
No, that's a good point. I'm not flying on my own, so I'd have to tell Brooke that that's the direction I want to go.
Real briefly, just to check in to the arm, how's Averin doing? She fine?
There's a coloring book.
This is the first time that she's forced to be alone and not doing anything since everything happened. And she has been actively trying to do things so she doesn't have to think about things. But now she is alone in a pocket dimension, essentially, with nothing but her thoughts. And I think after a long moment, as she's thinking about the words of that banshee, I think she goes into her pockets and takes the cloth bundle and unwraps it to reveal that emerald.
The greenstone.
Mm-hmm.
You don't feel a lot of warmth, Averin, not anymore, but when you hold it in your hand, it feels warm.
And I think that she looks at it for a very long time. And she's going to touch it.
Roll me a charisma saving throw.
I'm going to do an inspiration here. 10.
You feel yourself being pulled away. You felt this feeling before. For a second, you see the green fire of the maelstrom, the storm flashing in the distance. You see the blood sea, its red waters lapping up against a shore. You see the back of a man, a shape, standing, looking away from you.
Who does this look like?
Hawthorne.
Yep, okay. I don't think that she even realizes she's saying his name until it's the last syllable was out of her mouth.
He doesn't turn around. He takes one step, then another step, then another step, slowly walking out into the water, into the waves. You feel yourself being pulled again.
Wait.
Roll me a charisma saving throw.
An inspiration. 16.
You resist being pulled for another moment. You fight it. You feel yourself being wrenched away by a powerful force, but your voice calls out. It echoes over the water, over the thunder of the distant storm. He looks over his shoulder. He won't make eye contact with you. But you can see the side of his face.
I think that she'll just look at him. This is just a dream, isn't it?
He won't answer you. He glances a little closer, but he still won't make contact with you, and you're still struggling. You have a choice now. You can fight the pull, or you can let go.
Gonna keep fighting it.
Make me another charisma saving throw.
A 2.
You're ripped away from the shore. There's a flash of green, and you feel yourself marching, step, 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 amidst an army of the dead, creatures just like you. There's storm clouds overhead and lightning crackling, and you're marching on the town of Dargard. You feel like this is where you belong, at least in this moment. Do you accept that?
At first, she thinks, of course she does. She's a monster. But then she thinks about that she has to be with them.
Make me one more charisma saving throw.
I'm gonna use inspiration. 17.
You're back in the dark. The green stone in your hand. It feels warm. Feels good. Still feel that tug at the back of your brain. But you're here.
Yeah. She's gonna carefully wrap the emerald once more and put it back in her pocket and try to empty her thoughts of everything related to Hawthorne, that pole, and how hungry she is.
We'll leave you there in the arm as the rest of the party is flying towards the edge of the town of Dargard where the battle's happening. Honoria, what's Honoria doing right now?
To be honest, flying behind her companions, looking at them with malcontempt and hatred, and remembering that her mentor said to remember that they are tools in her toolkit. And that hatred is slightly more developed than perhaps it should be. And she feels very angry and alone and betrayed, because before she had turned chaotic evil due to everything that has happened, that is when she had felt her, for lack of a better term, brotherly love with Reardon. But like we all have that voice in our mind that tells us, maybe not all of us, sorry, I shouldn't speak for everybody, but at least for me in real life, there's a voice in my mind that tells me sometimes my friends don't actually like me. They don't want to be around me. They're just doing things because, you know, I've hung out with them or I've seen them face to face. Honoria is going through that battle in her head of, why don't they see? Why aren't they helping me? Why wouldn't they listen? Why is Iskander doesn't understand the importance? Why doesn't the dwarf tell me everything they know from the ruins? Why has Rickon been so quiet to me? Have I lost Avrin forever? What's happening? Should I just damn them all and leave for myself? No. No, I'm part of the group. I'm just pushed to the back on the sidewalk when I'm walking. But I'm still invited. She's struggling with her sense of morality for her friends.
Make me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, that was not a saving throw. I get +4 to that, sorry. So that would have been 18 if you'll let me keep the original roll.
Mm. You all fly towards the outskirts of Malmene, over the tree line of the forest. And once you can see over its walls in the distance, what you see is a horror show. Sir Riordan, you've seen something this terrible maybe once, twice in your life, even during the War of the Lance. Agatha, you've seen some horrible things, but this is beyond reason. It doesn't matter which knights served Soth and which knights were the rebels. There are 2 dragons now devouring, smashing their way through the city. There's not many people still moving. Some people have fled the town. You can see them running through the woods as you fly overhead. And now this dark shape crashes into the northern wall, attaches itself to the wall. And as the shadow rips away from it, you see an ancient red dragon. This is not the size of a house. This is the size of a small mountain. It's one of the greatest beasts, Sir Riordan, you've ever seen. And on its back, the Knight of the Black Rose, a black lance in his arm, and he points a finger down towards the town, and the dragon breathes fire. You see, too, as you're passing, the copper dragon and the rider on its back, tackling, fighting one of the skeletal dragons, pinning it to the ground. It's a young dragon, and the rider is fighting with bow, long bow. And you see him, Sir Riordan, red beard, wavy red hair, green cloak, and a leather armor behind. He's not wearing his knight's armor. He's wearing his scout's armor. He's firing arrows at approaching knights that are trying to attack his dragon as his dragon struggles with the other. And you see Soth's dragon, the ancient red, turn its attention towards Tanis Half-Elven and his mount, Fireflash. You're now probably too close to the town. Staying here, getting closer, could draw attention to all of you. What do you do?
Jordan, do you know him?
Yes. Is Lorana awake?
She's stirred over your shoulder. You're holding her. She's mumbling, but her eyes are open.
General. Lorana. Is
She
Tanis here?
She rolls her head over her shoulder. She's, Tanis? He's here?
Is he
She
here?
kind of...
Did he come with you through the darkness?
We were together. Fireflash, Tanis, and I, we were together when the rain came and the shadows came. Is Tanis here? Have you found him?
Damn it. Yes. He is going to fall.
No. She whispers the word no, and then her eyes roll back in the back of her head, and she swoons again as the wind rips by you.
What now, Sir Knight?
If we join this battle, we become more corpses. It is lost. We do not have a side.
I still have a half-elf to destroy.
What?
I told you I can see through time. And I look up slowly. It is the only way to win.
What do you mean? Tannis?
It must be. Ever since my tests in the High Tower, I haven't found my answer. But what's one more to the pile?
He narrows his eyes at Honoria, but turns to the rest of the group. We cannot save this town.
Nope.
As that
Honor.
word comes out of town, comes out of Riordan's mouth, you see Agatha just release the arrow that she's already got notched in her bow. As having just seen like someone so outnumbered and seeing these powerful people who are beside her just being like, let's just turn around. Despite her speech about generals, she can't just let someone get crushed in front of her the same way she'd watched oh crap, what was his name? Werewolf dude.
Vishard.
Vishard die, but she knew like there was a risk he was a monster. This is a copper dragon and a half elf. This is, you know, someone fighting back against a red dragon and two undead dragons and all this chaos. So she's just firing in a hope of creating distraction.
Who are you firing? Where's she firing at?
I'm imagining like I'm guessing probably Lord Soth, maybe the red dragon. The red dragon's with the copper dragon, right? So I'll go for like Lord Soth or a knight that's approaching Tannis. Like whichever I can get a good shot on.
Well, they're all pretty far from you, so you're gonna have disadvantage. But I'll give you a disadvantage ranged attack. And was Honoria? Did I see you? Was that a hand raise or was that just a?
No, that was just me going, well, fuck. Because I completely agree with what's happening as a player, but as a character, I will, well, fuck.
Quick moment. So I have Lily the Wolf and Nova on me, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Make that attack roll, Agatha. Your shot sails off and it comes up short. But regardless, you see the burning eyes in the distance of Lord Soth, his helmet turned towards you, and so too does the head of the ancient dragon.
Good, because I'm an Eldritch Knight and I get to attack, so I want to shoot him in the face.
Do it. And it'll also be an advantage with this range.
Okay. 18.
And again, you're just too far away at the moment as you're all flying there. Not too high up. You're just above the town walls, but you are flying. Honoria, make me a wisdom saving throw.
That is a 12.
You've been fighting it since you first experienced this warmth. You cut your hand, but slowly that heat inside you has grown. You're not sure what it is. You haven't done much exploration of it. I'll allow you to make an Arcana check now.
Dirty 20.
Your unlocking and experimentation with time magic is having some sort of adverse effect on you. You only notice it now after 10 minutes of it growing and growing, 15 maybe almost minutes of it growing and growing. And your skin is giving off that golden glow again.
I had a long time ago with my mentor, started reading some of the works of a certain wizard. Does that give me any indication beyond my role of what's happening?
You're in unexplored territory right now. You're not sure if it's good or bad. You're not sure if this is power that you're feeling or something else, but it's very close to reaching some sort of change.
I have always put my trust in magic above everything else. And I know that magic has great evil capabilities, but is there anything that I can do to surge this forward? Because if it's going to take me, if I'm going to die by magic in the weave, then I want it.
So you don't want to make a saving throw. You want to make an Arcana check for me then.
25.
Everyone else, you hear the crumbling of the walls as the Red Dragon and Soth turn and shift their attention towards you. Agatha's just fired 2 shots. You're all flying there.
Agatha, what have you done?
Sorry. Not prepared to watch another good man die.
And you've just added potentially 6 more ended the life of a little girl.
I've seen little girls die too. Took me down.
How far are we above the ground right now?
20 feet.
She'll just Misty Step. I'll use the second spell slot. Just...
Are you Misty stepping towards Soth and the dragon or away?
Down and towards the ground and towards the town. I'm gonna force them to decide. They can leave and then come with, but she's going in.
All right, so first let's start with Rookone. You see her teleport closer. She's going in, and the dragon is starting to push off.
All right, so I can use my movement to go where Agatha is?
You can follow her. Yeah, she's got a head start.
Okay, but like flying is like 60 feet, right? Movement?
Right.
This spell? Okay, so I have Nova, Lily, Wolf. I'm going to go down to where Agatha is, and
you won't be able to reach her. I mean, she's flying too.
Okay.
You can only follow her. You're not going to catch up to her at this point because she teleported ahead of you.
Okay. So even if I dash twice? Okay.
No.
Yeah, no, I'm going to... motherfucker. So I'm going to go to the ground, drop the wolf, put Lily on the wolf, smack the rear of the wolf and tell it to flee, and then follow Agatha with Nova on my back.
You leave Lily and the wolf on the ground behind?
I'll I tell the wolf to find safety, and I'll come for it later.
Do you carry Lily with you?
No, Lily's on the wolf. I put Lily on
got you. Now I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah. How about Sir Riordan?
For one of the very few times in his life, Riordan is shocked. What are you doing? This is madness. He knows. He's a tactician. They don't have a side in this fight. Just because Tanis Half-Elven is fighting on one side doesn't mean that's their side. They might not even know who they are or be able to relate to them. They might be attacked by both sides. He knows that he wants to believe that this is a hopeless cause, and so he shall. Knowing, he turns to Honoria.
She's glowing with a golden light, brighter and brighter and brighter.
What's happening to you?
She looks at you for a split second with a wild animal look. But doesn't answer, just shakes her head no, and looks at you, looking at her, and her eyes flit over to the little girl, and then back again.
Are you in pain?
No.
Then come with me. He's going to fly after Lily.
You're going to go in the opposite direction of the town?
That is the oath and the measure.
Mm. And Honoria?
We still have fly up?
Yeah.
I will cast it again. At 3rd level, so we can renew that 10 minutes. And then as a... I can't cast it on someone else. Oh, and they're both concentration spells anyway, so never mind. So, yeah, we both go at all speed.
Roll an Arcana check. Something happens when you cast a spell this time. The spell goes off as intended, but you blink out of existence, Honoria. And when you blink back...
23 on my Arcana.
That's it, yeah. So the spell goes off as intended, but immediately afterwards, you vanish. You're not in your body. You're not in time. And then you blink back into existence. Your skin's still giving off a bit of that golden light. You feel like you've been spun around in a circle over and over by a giant and then planted carelessly back onto your feet. As the light on your flesh dims, your eyes come into focus. You find yourself in the ruins of a great city. Its shattered streets and toppled buildings sprawling every direction as far as the eye can see. Gray, colorless clouds clog the sky. It's daytime, but you cannot see the sun. A ways away from you, you can see what's left of some docks, an ocean beyond.
Where are my friends?
They are not here. In fact, you don't see any people.
I reach for a staff that isn't there, and I start walking, looking for a tavern.
And all around you are ruins. This town has been destroyed. The city has been destroyed. There's something familiar about it. And as you're sort of parsing where you are and what's going on, you hear from around the corner of a massive pile of rubble, what sounds in common, a young person saying, "Hurry up, climb, damn it, old man. We have to keep moving."
Albin!
There's no
run.
You turn the corner and what you see is basically a pit in the middle of the street. And there's an old man, not Alvin, human, in rags, and a young man also in rags trying to pull him up out of the pit.
I'll go to help.
Roll me a perception check.
5.
You don't see it until you're almost to the edge of the pit, but something else rises out of the pile of rubble beyond. It's a large, aberrant shape, a spherical shape with a singular eye, and several stalks growing in multiple directions out of that eye. And as the two figures are almost to the lip of this pit climbing out of it, the eye floats over, looks down at them, and unleashes a ray, hot light comes out of that eye, and it sweeps across both of their bodies, rending them into multiple pieces, and what's left of them tumbles back down into the pit. The eye starts to turn towards you. You're not sure if it's seen you yet.
I don't know how much Honoria's experience is with magical creatures. As a player, I'm assuming Beholder, but would she... Do Beholders speak Abyssal? Or do they have their own monstric language?
That's a... Roll me a history check.
Natural 1.
You're not sure. You've never seen a creature like this before. It might not be a beholder. You're not sure. Certainly beholders in Dragonlance and Kryn are very rare. But you have never personally encountered or studied this creature. It's starting to look towards you. What are you doing?
I am, in this moment, still walking forwards towards it. There was a moment of fear after seeing it sliced in half with the laser. But Honoria wants to assume that she is destined for greater things and that this has a purpose. So, like a true idiot, she is walking forward to the beholder.
You can see as you kind of turn the corner and get closer, a section of the city that you couldn't really see from your vantage point before. And that's when you suddenly know where you are, even if not when you are. You see the Doomspire. You see the Tower of High Sorcery in Palanthas, where you unleash the shadowy magic that brought you to Nightland. The tower is the only building you see in this vast ruin that's still standing. And at the foot of the tower, you see a dragon much, much larger than the one you just saw before in the town, with 5 heads, each head a different color. And this beast is at the foot of the tower, and each of the heads is ripping against chains, huge chains binding it to the ground. It's screaming with each of its maws, and it's not stopping. It just fights and fights and fights. And above the tower, you see something else, something in the sky. It's a large shape, a symbol, red, pulsing, glowing. You recognize at least what it resembles to you. It resembles the Bloodstone, the artifact that was stolen from you by Fist and Dantalus. Very far away.
Why are you in the way? Elang, I try to fly past the beholder around, assuming beholder. Sorry.
Your spell fizzles as you try to summon your magic here. You feel disconnected.
No, this is the gayest and this is a trick. I look around. This is a dream. I free myself of this reality. I scream.
The beholder doesn't look towards you. It just kind of turns and floats back in the general direction of the tower. You can see there are other shapes in the sky there, just kind of floating to different parts of the city. Every once in a while, there's a flash of hot white energy, and then it's gone. As you're looking around, roll me a perception check.
Natural 20.
You see a human shape between 2 half-fallen pillars in the shadow for a second, and then it steps back into the shadow.
Damn it. I have an inkling as a player, but I don't think there is any way I would know this as a character. But I'm gonna ask anyways. Mina? No? Okay. I look at the creature going back and forth between the pillars, then the humanoid.
Yeah, it's stuck between the pillars and whatever lies beyond.
Can I walk up to it and get a free it?
Not trapped, but you can approach the pillars. You can follow it.
I do so.
You step between the pillars into a small, what used to be maybe a house, a tiny house, and was the poor quarter of the town, the city of Planthus. You're alone for a moment, and then you feel a presence behind you.
I attempt to misty step. I presume the spell fizzles, in which case I will turn dramatically.
You turn dramatically around, and you see Riordan, but much, much older than the last time you saw him.
It is you. You must help us. You must take us back and fix it. You must fix it.
How?
That's where we will leave off our episode for tonight.
I hate you. I hate you both.
Yeah. So that went in a lot of directions. I'm
not talking to you right now.
All right, we'll come back to you. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, let's go around in a circle. We'll do the charisma saving throws here at the end, but I just want to talk to everybody, see how they're doing, see what they thought of tonight, and then we'll talk about what's coming next week a little bit. And let's start with Charlie. How are you doing, Charlie?
Just pulling my wig off because it was too tight and I need to get it off my head. But I'm doing good. I look very different with my hair, but that's alright. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm very excited. I promise Agatha is not suicidal. But she might still die in the process of what she's doing. I'm super excited as we see, like you said, all of the weaving that has gone on and small bits that we know coming together. The sad thing about it is Agatha still isn't part of quite the same story everyone else is, at least from her perspective. She's in a different chapter, dealing with different problems. But I think eventually it's all going to come crashing one way or another as pasts, presents, futures, prophecies collide, mind meld, have a baby grows up, plants some rose bushes, roses bloom, dragonlances, jousting. I don't know, I'm excited. Props to just all of this cast for being totally insane and brilliant. And to you, of course, Don. This is great fun. And I am super excited to find out what's going to happen next.
Yeah, me too. I didn't expect Agatha to draw aggro from the ancient red dragon. So that's a whole thing that we'll get her back around to.
I mean, she is a scout and a road warden. She is going to rely on those skills to get out of line of sight as quick as she can and just keep kiting this dragon around. Like we're in UBRS in the old days. Kite the dragon, keep running, don't stop. Hunter and a bow.
More dots.
I loved it. I think I said this, maybe it was the last episode we had, that you see like this unbreakable sense of goodness from both Riordan and Agatha and Rookone, but for each of them, their personal morals and what drives them is very different. And when those things are not lined up, when they're opposite, it's really, really interesting to watch. I love that aspect of it.
So Agatha shifted, and in fact seeing her father today actually pushed her away from something. Normally she would be chasing down the thing that she connects with her father, but in seeing and reliving that moment, it actually pushed her to think more about what that was actually all about. I'm trying to be vague because we haven't covered the specifics of it, but it pushed her into realizing that a prophecy is great and all, but that doesn't mean you can just walk away from what's going on in front of you. That helping out, you know, doing what you're meant to do, you can do that, but you should not forsake and ignore all else for that. Because if it's meant to happen, you'll get to it.
Yeah, I loved it. I didn't expect it at all, but I thought it was amazing. I like that that's the twist that it took right at the end. What are you up to? Are you doing anything cool? Anything you want us to know about?
Oh, cool things. Okay, a couple of cool things I can plug. The Spy Game's got Kickstarter. It's approaching 50%. It's like £200 away from 50%. This is our second day. I'm writing on it. It's a really awesome team. Go and check out that Kickstarter by Sam and James of Black Cats Gaming. It's modern day action espionage for 5e. Really fun. There's a lot of one-shots going around right now, so you can check it out all over the place. And it's super fun. And I think it's going to be a really great toolkit. I'm already thinking of how I can use it to run a Toy Story one-shot. That's something I really want to do. The other thing I'd love to plug is tomorrow is our Song of Ice and Fire finale of our season, After the Fire, on RPG Webby's channel at 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK. It's going to be huge. We finally get Baby Roll. We get to catch up with Oliver and Maria and Alfred, and find out what Mara's doing, eloping with her husband to the border for a fight. So yeah, I am super excited for that finale. This week has been a big week for me with finales, and I'm super excited to be back in this game and all of the mad dramatic adventures we're all on. Oh, and you get to see me again on Sunday when we're back with Sky Chasers. We're starting at a new time for that as well, which will be 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK, for a slightly longer playtime, because cast voted and we decided we want more. We need more. So we will be rejoining Dr. Nash, Captain Robert, Chris Brubaker, Bessie, and Co. And we also have a guest coming up soon as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Sky Chasers too, for sure. And of course, for tomorrow night and After the Fire, our Game of Thrones game, I'm really excited about that. I know my characters made some not wise decisions in terms of his personal well-being, and that's what Game of Thrones is all about. That's I won't get into it, but if you haven't checked out After the Fire, you're around tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come by for our finale at RPG Webby. It's going to be a really good time.
That's what my Black Rose's Blame is about too, right? No regard for personal well-being, making bad decisions.
I mean, right? I feel like most of you make good decisions, but there's always one. And this time it was you, Charlie.
I mean, Averin was in an arm, so she couldn't do it. So I had to, swoop in.
You stand in an arm.
Safe. I mean, she made her own bad choices inside the arm. It's fine.
That's right.
I think arm candles is the best quote of the night, to be honest.
Speaking of arm candles, Kiana, hello. How are you doing? Oh no, you're muted.
God damn it. There we go. It wouldn't be an episode without time fuckery and, feels. That's just how it is here. And we got both of those in a plenty, clearly. Yeah, I didn't know what Avon was doing on that arm for a while, and I was like, oh, I know what she's doing. All right, we're just gonna make it sad now. So we did. But man, I don't know what's happening half this time. Avon doesn't know what's happening. She's in an arm.
Yeah, she's gonna be in quite a surprise when she comes out of that arm, and there's like a big red dragon and Lord Soth right there.
I mean, there's no sunlight outside. She's gonna chill in there for a while. But,
it's probably the safest. I don't actually technically, in terms of D&D rules, know what happens if the wearer of the arm of holding gets torched. What happens to?
It depends on what happened to the bag, I guess.
Yeah, because if the bag gets destroyed, everything falls out, and then if the world's still on fire, all of the stuff will burn. But,
or it's the plot of Aladdin. 1,000 years from now, someone finds the arm in the Cave of Wonders.
Fucking pocket
Vampire.
terrible pocket vampire who just would brood instead of dealing with her feelings. Yeah, this is actually the most open Avern's been in a very long time. She and Nova are a time. I love it so much.
Yeah.
It's so very good. Yeah, and I can't wait for next week to find out what the fuck's going on. What's going on? I don't know.
Oh. I'll say this about next week. Next week's going to be a whole other thing, and then we'll find out what's going on in the present timeline. But next week, we can expect some future shenanigans for sure, and to find out what is going on with that side of things. I loved that you had the choice today of Averin to either hold on or let go. I think that's something that Averin's really struggled with all of her relationships. And even after all this time, she still wouldn't let go, which I think is indicative of, where she is. I loved it.
Yeah, she's a time. She's certainly a character. In terms of what I'm doing, of course, find me on Twitter. Best way to figure out what I'm doing, because I'm doing a lot of RPG stuff right now. But the big thing I'm going to plug is that this Saturday, July 6th, from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern, we are doing a charity stream over on Salty Sweet Games. We are raising money for Abigail Lobsayer, who is a local girl going through childhood cancer. All of the funds will be going to support her and her family during this time. So we have 12 hours of awesome tabletop games going on, a lot of really awesome prizes that we're giving away thanks to some very generous folks in the community. So come and hang out with us on Saturday if you're around on twitch.tv/saltysweetgames. Also follow us on Twitter so you can get all the updates and all the giveaways and all that stuff. I hope to see y'all there because it's going to be a fun time for a good cause.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing that go off too. And I just think it's an awesome thing. I've been watching it since you first announced it, and I've seen some of the hints of some of the games that are going to be happening. I'm excited to hear more about it and learn more about it. Hey, Bill, how are you doing, man?
Yo! Oh, yeah, there's more to that. It was great to be back with y'all. It was so much fun to play. I got to dismember a skeletal knight and throw him off a cliff, which felt awesome. But now, Rukon has made the choices of and promises to look after and care for these people. So you see the glint in his eye when he has the opportunity to go into battle, but then the weight of the promise that he made, not necessarily the oath that others live their lives by, but like a singular thing. And so it's heavy. But this was great. I'm so glad to be back. This is like the pinnacle of my week. I'll be doing thing I'm pretty excited about. We'll be doing Monday evenings at 6 coming up here pretty soon. Realms Remembered here on Tales of the Grim. And I'll be doing that with Greg and Don. Super stoked. And several other awesome people. You can catch me at Gen Con. If y'all are going out to Gen Con, let's grab a drink and fuck shit up. That'd be cool. You Billy the Forest on Twitter. And I want it to be next week already. So let's do that. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for everything. You guys are so much fun. This is great. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you. I love Rukon, and I'm excited for next week too. It felt weird getting back into it at first, but now that we're back, it's like we're back. I'm really excited. Lindy, how are you doing?
I can remember to unmute. I'm doing spiffy. Things happened tonight. It was real interesting. Got a pocket Averin right now. I really just want to pull off my arm, shake it out, and be like, Averin, I choose you, and just wait for her to fall out. But we'll see what happens. I also don't want to be here with this dragon, so that'll be interesting next week. Whew, yeah. I had a lot of fun as Nova, though. I think some of my favorite moments tonight were of Avrin and Nova. Just Avrin saying, like, you're taking this well. Like, just tickled me. I really can't wait for y'all to meet some of my other friends. And then you'll see exactly why she took this so well. I'm terribly excited. Can't wait for more. Excited for time fuckery. Very curious about that because I haven't experienced it yet because I'm a local. Nova's gonna have to sit somebody down and be like, all right, so hold on. Someone mentioned timelines, as in plural. Can someone just, are y'all not from around here? Because I really thought, but yeah, it's gonna be great. You can find me online at LaughLoveLindy on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube, where I play and GM a lot of games. Nothing tomorrow because it's the 4th. Well, nothing streamed tomorrow because it's the 4th. Working on a little podcast stuff. But on Saturday, definitely check out a Hollow Tales channel for not our regular Unhallowed game, but a little spin-off, a little prequel, to see some backstory of characters and stuff, and it's going to be super fun. And on Sunday, is it this Sunday? Yes, Sunday for Marvel Superheroes, which I'm super excited about. I get to be Kitty Pryde and do my disappearing act as I phase through things. So, very excited.
I'm really excited for Marvel too. I'm playing Wolverine, and I have like maybe the worst wig I've ever put on my head, or maybe the best wig.
I am gonna tune in for that so hard.
And it's a fun game too. I loved we did a charity stream of it, and I think we lost it because of Gremlins originally. Like, we don't have the VOD up, but it was so much fun. And Kitty Pryde was awesome. I can't wait to see more Kitty Pryde too. Tia, how are you doing? You had a time.
Fuck. Yeah. Okay. The first thing I want to say comes at the end of the session, which made me super embarrassed because normally I'm very in the moment, but I also kind of feel like it played into the chaotic evil, and that's my excuse. I knew that you said ruins, and looking for a tavern was not a part of that, but I'm excusing that towards Honoria's lust for her own personal goals. But it's been a long time since I have, quite frankly, fucked up that hard in game, and I just want to apologize to you because it's not me not paying attention to your beautiful story. It's just,
I thought that was in character. That was in character. You were looking for a tavern. You need the spell component, and also, I want a tavern.
Very much so, and taverns are everywhere in D&D, but that was the first time in a long time that I've kind of felt like a newbie player, but that's the reason that I love this campaign. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I love this campaign because I feel like it's the first time I'm playing D&D again. I love all of you so much. Playing this game is so amazing. Avrin, your moment tonight for me, unfortunately, was Dawn being fucking savage with the Banshee. That was, I feel like Avrin gets the short end of the stick all the time.
Avrin's an assassin, but she gets fucked up constantly.
All the time. And that particular whisper from the Banshee, I was just like, I felt that so hard. Agatha and I have not had enough chances to connect yet, which really sucks because I feel like our characters might not necessarily get on, but there is something there.
You just want me to my info, Tia. Don't
I
try and frame this
do!
anything.
You're like the white pages of Ravenloft and Dragonlance for me right now, and I'm just trying to find the 411 on that. But your roleplay is beyond brilliant, and I love the chance that I finally get to play with you because we've been friends, at least I think we're friends on Twitter, for over 2 years. So to see your roleplay, to see that interaction, even if it's on the outside of a D&D circle, makes me really, really happy. And as I said earlier, as a character, why the fuck did you shoot at the dragon? But as a player, I totally understand.
By the way, Tia, this isn't a circle. you and Honoria, and on the outside of anything, this is a pentagram that makes a magic spell, of which we are all very important parts.
That means a lot to me because I've been feeling a lot of insecurity when it comes to the D&D world, so thank you. I will cry about that as soon as we are off stream. Lindy, I have loved you always. I have also, on the other spectrum, always hated Kender. That is something that has been a personal thing for me for a long, long time. I have joked about it with the crew here for a long, long time, and to have a Kender that fits in the group that is as amazing as you, I feel like this is the character that you were born to play. I've seen you play every single kind of character, but I've never known anyone that has played a Kender so perfectly. And if I know correctly, you're not that familiar with Dragonlance?
Not at all.
And it's just so brilliant to see you step into the roles that you play. As a dungeon master and as a player, there is no one who can just put on a costume the way that you do, put on a cosplay, and step into a role and make a group more complete.
And
Rookone.
you guys were really into Dragonlance, so I was like, oh shit, I gotta do some Kender research.
I was a little afraid for you, not gonna lie, because I take Dragonlance very seriously.
Oh, I know. That's why I was like,
yeah, it's one of my holy artifacts when it
I'm the
comes
only
to
local
books.
in the group. I need to know everything that's going on in this place.
You knock it out of the park. Rookone, Billy, my bean brother, to see you go from the maelstrom and that horrible timeline that you put yourself in as a player that isn't who you are as a person. The Billy I know is a beautiful and wonderful and loving soul. To see you go from that character that is hateful and malicious and anti-tribal towards women, towards relationships, and to play that and to come this far and take that whole story in chunks. And your instant reaction to everything tonight has been protect the child, be one with that woman, to put yourself in front of danger constantly. That is the Billy that I know, and to see that shine through in the character tonight and see you take that whole journey, I love you and respect you so much as a person. And Greg, I fucking hate you so much. But there is no one I'd rather play the wizard in the night with, either in Dragonlance, in Ravenloft, or on the Sava board of Loth. You are my partner in this cosmic dance. Normally, I would say that I have a bunch of shit going on with other D&D games, but I don't. So please invite me, because I'm real bored.
I'll just say this, because Honoria had a lot of moments tonight, and as she's starting to piece together things in her head, she's kind of the keeper of like all these all the pieces of the puzzle. She's kind of like the person that's closest to putting them all together. I loved seeing your reactions as you figured out parts of things that you've been thinking about for a long time.
You fucked me so hard tonight, dude. And if Lindy didn't say that, I mean the non-sexual manner, if Lindy didn't say that, I might not have gotten there. But it was like Mario going from one end of the level all the way to the other all at once, and I hit all the boxes on the way. I was like, I cannot believe that you did that to us. Anyways, sorry. I hate you.
Before we do the very end of this and what we do, Greg, how are you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing great. Sir Riordan is great to play, but playing with these people is even better. Had a lot of fun tonight. I hate that Tanis is there. I was hoping he wasn't going to be there, but fuck it, he's going to die soon, so hell with it. having just an absolute blast playing this. Love playing in the world of Dragonlance. Sir Riordan's been with me for 30 plus years. Finally get a chance to walk around with him, having just an absolute blast doing just that. Grimjack21502 on the Twitter, part of the Tales from the Grim team here on the Twitch. We got a lot of fun things coming up. The aforementioned Sky Chasers at 3 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. And then, of course, our charity game, Marvel Superheroes Empire City, this session featuring Jessica Jones. That'll be at 6 p.m. Eastern, where we will have some fun. And perhaps, because we are making it a charity event, if you have somebody that you would like to... The great pantheon of the Marvel Superheroes is vast. If you would like to, I don't know, play somebody... Your charitable donation could do just that. Realms Remembered is coming up later on in the summer. I've said it once, I'll say it again. It is my long-form D&D campaign, and if I had to sum it up, it is Baz Luhrmann's Dungeons & Dragons. There will be dancing. Back to you, Don.
I'm really looking forward to Realms Remembered too, and to find out, because I have no idea. Like, that's very vague, Greg. It's specific, but not really. And I'm really excited for that campaign and to find out what you mean. I love Sir Riordan tonight and every night. Made some really interesting choices, and I'm sorry that I had to bring Tanis into it. I know you have feelings, but I'm really looking forward to next week. We will be missing Charlie next week while we're doing this sort of, look at a different time thing, but I know what that story is, and I'm excited to find out exactly how it'll take shape. In the meantime, you can follow me on Twitter at Donathan Fry. I'm doing other games. I've already talked about most of them. I write stuff, and if I have anything to share, I'll share it there. So follow me if you'd like. Otherwise, wrapping things up tonight, everybody make me a charisma saving throw. We have corruption going on. Sir Riordan, you can also roll me 1d4.
What are we trying to beat here, Don?
12.
3? Oh.
Oh, wow.
4. I was hoping we had to beat a 3.
Charlie.
All right.
Babe,
I've never been able to be successful.
Charlie, Nova, and Kiana in Avrin, you will gain... Just going to roll this. Flat for y'all.
Oh, are you sure we can't roll our own, Don?
Yes.
Right,
Yes. Don't let him roll
met
it.
Dawn?
Don't let Don roll those.
Roll me 1d4, the three of you. Sir
Wow,
Riordan,
you're feeling kind tonight. Is it because you fucked us all?
Yeah,
I'm just happy we're back.
guess who slid?
Oh no!
Oh no, Averin.
It kind of works though.
It makes sense.
It makes so much sense. So I'll let you ponder on what that means and get back to us in a couple of weeks with the consequences of that slide.
Do I get double because I nat ones? Is that like?
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So 2 corruption for Nova and 2 corruption for Agatha. Sir Riordan gains 4 redemption points because of the poll in chat, and the other poll in chat voted for Honoria to gain corruption. Here's the thing: she can't gain corruption. She physically can't, mentally can't. No way can she become more corrupt than she already is. And I've thought a lot about this. If this came up, what was I going to do? And I've decided that I'm going to let Honoria choose who to give 1d4 corruption to.
Oh. It's actually going to be Avrin. Shock! Gasp! You all thought
Right.
it was going to be Riordan, but I am a player at the end of the day, and
Avrin deserves
What?
that's a little bit more. So that is the corruption. Avrin will gain a level and become more corrupt in a way that she sees fit for her character. Next week, we're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be a one-of-a-kind kind of episode for our show. We have a lot of great guest stars coming up, and I'm excited to get all their stories tied and everything too. Thank you all for being with us. Thank you for being here now that we're back, and I hope you keep following the show. Whether it's live on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or whether you're catching us on YouTube on the videos on demand, of which I know a lot of you are, let us know what you think. Tweet at us, leave us comments, and thank you for being here. Greg, it's over to you, bud.
All right, let me just typing a message to all of our wonderful raiders who have just come in, and instead of typing, I will go ahead and say this. Everyone, if you've just come into raid, we're playing Dragonlance and D&D 5e. Hit that follow button and be notified whenever we go live again. It's a blast. Thank you so much, everyone, for showing up. Raiders the last minute, but also everyone for being here. Legion all. We are going to be, I think we're going to raid our friend Katie. Let's go raid Katie.
Yay, Katie!
And as you go over there, I would like you all to know that next week, if Riordan is in fact in the future, I may not have to wear my armor. So if that's the case, I will be a happy camper.
You and I have so many words. Go ahead, sir.
As the campfire goes down, there's only one thing left to say. You can't always roll nat 20s, unless you're Billy, but you can always role play. We'll see you next time, my friends.